This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
My countrymen and my friends, I had hoped against hope that some miracle would prevent a devastating war and bring to an end the invasion.
This most serious threat World Wrestling Federation has ever known.
The long-term future of sports entertainment could change forever.
A succession of actual wars have shaken the entire world and have threatened to bring on the gigantic conflict, which is today, unhappily, a fact.
No force of nature and no act of God could stop this invasion from happening.
I have said not once but many times that I have seen war and that I hate war.
This is our last chance.
There's no going back. There is no tomorrow. They want to finish us all. Feel this moment for the rest of your life.
This war is only half over, and it could damn well be lost.
We're laying it all on the line.
Nothing can stop the WCW and ECW.
Austin is going to lead us into invasion.
Lift up your heart. All will come right.
We will kick WCW and ECW's.
No WWF superstar is going to deny us from our destiny. The sports entertainment.
I have seen war and I hate war.
Place to Be Nation. Welcome back to another episode of Nation Invasion. I'm your host / captain, James Gruenberg, and we are past the first island and we are sailing into new waters. We finished the WWF Invasion pay-per-view and the Alliance came out on top. And now the Alliance has a new leader and a new captain, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He betrayed the WWF at Invasion and jumped to the Alliance, so they won 6-5. 6-5 at Invasion. The score was so the Alliance wins. They get to celebrate, but you know this war is not over by a long shot, as we will see tonight, with titles changing and whatnot. And someone might be coming back to pro wrestling at this time. But before we get into all that, let me bring in my co-host on Extreme Resurrection and my first mate, Steve Riddle. Steve, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Glad to be back. I believe. Does this make me the first repeat that you've had so far? Or have you done?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yep, yeah, you're the first one who has gone twice on this one. So welcome aboard the second vessel here.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to talk 2001 WWF, and it's interesting because I actually I did watch the Invasion pay-per-view live when it aired, and I, like probably a lot of other people, were left in utter kind of shock and disbelief when Austin turned and joined up with Shane and Stephanie.
Yeah, and we're gonna see here tonight that things might not be looking on the up and up for the WWF here. As we get into the Raw and SmackDown here as well. So we are at Raw, July 23rd, 2001. We're live in Buffalo, New York. Recap of Stone Cold betraying the WWF and joining the Alliance. Stone Cold comes to the ring with Shane, Steph, and Paul. Steph doesn't blame the fans for being angry, brags that the Alliance won an Invasion, said that the Alliance would beat the WWF, says that the WWF will bleed to death. Paul tells the fans that they were supporting the losing team and the number 2 brand. Paul also says that he who has the power has the gold. And then Stone Cold goes on the mic. Mike says he is no longer appreciated by the WWF or Vince McMahon. He accuses Vince of, wanting to replace Stone Cold as leader of Team WWF with Kurt Angle and replace him as WWF champion with Kurt Angle as well. He also accuses Vince of calling The Rock And since Stone Cold says Vince didn't need anyone except Stone Cold joined the alliance to be loved and for competition. And then Kurt Angle comes out. Stone Cold taunts Kurt Angle. Angle rushes to the ring, belly to Austin, and Austin backs out. What did you think of this whole scenario segment here, Steve?
It was okay. This is really, I think, where Stephanie starts to kind of get really grating with her voice and all the constant yelling. Yes, and her trying to like act all cool with like the backwards hat and everything. It just doesn't work. Paul calling the WWF the number 2 company is is pretty funny to say. And then Austin kind of it's funny, he explained himself more here for this heel turn than he did for when he turned heel after Mania. Then it was like I don't owe you fans a damn explanation, but here it's like, Vince is trying to replace me with Kurt, and he's calling The Rock. Why did he need? Why he has me? Why is he focusing all on them? And I know it's a lot of people thought, well, why does Austin want to join this WCW ECW? Because like he obviously never liked WCW, and he was only in ECW for a brief time, but again, it makes sense. I mean, I think his issues with WCW was more just him and Bischoff more than the company itself. And obviously, when he was in ECW, he and Paul, I'm sure, got along pretty well. So it does make sense a little bit in that end. And then, like I said, Kurt comes out and they have a little back and forth. And you clearly see that and hear that the pops for Kurt are definitely getting a lot bigger as the fans are now, I think, ready to cheer him, and they're ready to turn him like full-time face.
Yeah, Kurt Angle is not a heel like anymore. Really, the fans, like you said, are just like getting louder and louder with Kurt. And you can also see that Stone Cold is starting to get scared of Angle. Like the whole paranoia of Stone Cold losing the belt to Kurt Angle is coming, because he wants nothing to do with Kurt Angle, and Stone Cold is backing away as well. Mm-hmm. RVD is backstage with Alliance members, says he is going to put his hardcore title on the line, and for the WWF to be very afraid, and that they can just go get any title that they want from the WWF. So RVD is trying to be a spokesperson for the Alliance as well. So I think it's cool, like what RVD has to say. He's like, hey, man, don't be afraid. Like, go get what you want. So RVD is going to put the WWF on notice. And with that, we have our first matchup. It is Rob Van Dam versus Matt Hardy for the hardcore title. Baseball slide to RVD. Matt pulls out a ladder. RVD goes flying into the ladder. Rolling Thunder to Matt. Hip toss off the ladder by Matt. Matt hits a leg drop on RVD. But then RVD gets a 5-star frog splash into the ladder by RVD for the win. For this matchup, I went 2.25 stars. It was good. It was your typical hardcore match. I don't know why the ladder always has to be like in play. I feel like the Hardy Boys do not know anything or know how to use any other weapon except for a ladder. I know they're made for the ladders, but stop pulling out the ladder.
Yeah, I went 2.25 as well. Kind of interesting. RVD has back-to-back nights again with both Hardys, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Like you said, funny that the ladder was the only weapon involved in the match. Like RVD didn't even pull anything else out. But they made with what they made do with what they did. That was a nasty hip toss that RVD took off the ladder. I got kind of scared that he was going to hit the mat the wrong way, but he thankfully landed somewhat fine. And then I love the 5-star with Matt trapped in the ladder. I thought that was a really great spot and a good way for RVD to retain and show that you can already hear the crowd starting to kind of turn with him now, and they'll kind of play out the point throughout the weeks that RVD is quickly becoming the most popular star on the Alliance side.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like they're just going to cheer for him, because they know they know they're not going to boo Rob Van Dam, even though he's on the Alliance side. How can you not boo Rob Van Dam, especially if those guys have watched RVD in ECW. Edge and Christian are backstage. They run into the Dudley Boys. The Dudley Boys challenge Edge and Christian to a tables match. Booker T changes it to a 6-man table match. Christian asks Booker T, is he related to Mr. T? So they're trying to diss Booker T here. So it's a 6-man elimination match. Edge and Christian have to find a partner here. Then we go to another segment. You'll see that we have a lot of backstage segments here as well. Paige and Canyon are backstage. Paige says it was all Stone Cold's idea to have Deborah kidnapped. And then Canyon explains his MVP shirt to Paige that he won the pivot match for the alliance that helped them win it all at Invasion. So what do you think of these two segments here, Steve?
The one with the Edge of Christian, the Dudleys and Booker was decent. Bubba and Diva kind of acknowledging Edge and Christian as their old TLC running buddies. Kind of calling back to their history. You have the comparison to Booker T and Mr. T, and Edge even getting in. I pay you the fool. I don't know why that made me chuckle, but it did. In the end, yeah, good. We got a little Jersey triad reunion with Paige and Canyon, and funny Canyon calling himself the MVP, considering that he did not. I looked back, he actually didn't really do much to help win his team win that match. It was the DDT, I think, by Stasiak, and then Morrison ended up getting the pin. So, yeah. But I guess that kind of plays into this. I guess kind of Canyon being delusional that he's the reason why they won.
Yeah, so Canyon's gonna go with that whole segment of who better than Canyon for a while. Now we have our an Intercontinental title match: Lance Storm versus Albert. Albert goes to work on Storm. Albert is pushed into the ring post, clotheslines, and a huge splash to Storm. Scissors kick to Storm. Mike Awesome comes out, but is cut off by X-Pac. Hugh Morris then hits Albert with the Intercontinental Championship, and then Storm gets the win. And then we have a huge brawl afterwards. With the guys, it's like the WWF guys are beating up the WCW and ECW guys as well. But with that being said, we have another WWF title. It is the Intercontinental title is in the enemy's hands, as Lance Storm is now the new Intercontinental champion. For this matchup, I'm going to star and a quarter. It looked like Albert was really just going to work on Storm. Storm got a few blows in, but again, this is where it starts coming that the Alliance can't win unless they cheat. So a star and a quarter here.
Yeah, I went star and a half. I didn't mind it. I mean, it was kind of a squash. I mean, Albert dominated Storm for the majority of the match. And then, like you said, it took the interference by the Alliance to come out, particularly with Hugh Morris hitting Albert in the head with the belt, and then Storm hitting the super kick for the win. And then, like you said, then there's the big brawl with the WWF gaining control, and I think it was Jindrak and Kidman took the big moves there at the end. I think Kidman took the choke slam from Kane, and Jindrak took the power bomb from Bradshaw. So the Alliance does get another belt in their camp now with the IC title, and it was fine. I mean, Albert really wasn't doing much as champion, and Storm's a guy that I think is somebody that they definitely think highly enough of to give him an IC title run.
Yeah, like Lance Storm has said, he was the first one. Excuse me. Lance Storm said he was the first one that could be trusted with a title, basically by WWF, so they gave it to him. Even though Mike Awesome was the hardcore champion, they really wanted to go with Storm, with his athleticism, and they could trust him. So he's the new Intercontinental champion. Shane and Austin are backstage with Paul and Steph. They're talking about, this the main event and how, the Alliance is running Raw. Canyon tells Austin he was the MVP, but Austin tells him that Stone Cold is better than Canyon and that he is the MVP. So then Stephanie goes, you have to Canyon, you have to focus on Chris Jericho here tonight. So I thought this was a funny segment. He's like, well, I'll say that, who better than Canyon besides Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yeah, again, more delusion here from Canyon. And at one point, you just see Paul kind of with this just kind of with that, God, are you such an idiot kind of look on his face. So, yeah, again, just more delusional stuff here from Canyon.
Mm-hmm. Tori and Stacy are backstage and say that Trish is jealous of them. And then Regal and Tajiri are backstage in Regal's office. Regal tells Tajiri to tear apart Raven. So we're going to get that match. Edge and Christian recruit Kurt Angle for their 6-man tag tables matchup here. So a lot going on. We're going to have a whipping match between Tori and I believe it's Tori and Trish. Tajiri's going to face Raven. Now we know that Edge and Christian are going to have Kurt Angle as their third man to take on the Dudley Boys and Booker T in the 6-man tables match. So little Edge and Christian reunite with Kurt Angle after Team Wreck disbanded.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little nice to see Team Eck at least back together.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. I mean, you want to give kind of establish Kurt as like now he's the top guy for the WWF. Now with Austin defecting.
Yep. So now we have Tajiri versus Raven. Kicks to Raven, a clothesline to Tajiri, kick to Raven's face. Raven slams Tajiri into the guardrail. Missile drop kick to Raven. Tajiri applies the tarantula and hits a kick to Raven for the win. For this matchup, Steve, I actually went star and 3/4. I always liked Tajiri's moves. I do feel that the match was short, but I always like Tajiri's style of work. And if they would give Raven a chance, I think he could put on a great ECW match with guys he's used to working with.
Yeah, I went a star and a half. I wonder if these two ever fought in ECW, during that brief time that Raven had come back in '99 into 2000, right as Tajiri was starting to kind of, get over. I wonder if I have to. I don't know if they've ever fought before. I guess our good friends at Three-Way Dance will find that out. But yeah, just decent back and forth between the two. I love Tajiri's kicks. They are always sound real stiff, and he really lays them in. Obviously, the tarantula is always going to get a pop, even though he can only hold it for a few seconds, and then finishes Raven off with the kick to the head. So just kind of good little back-to-back wins here for Tajiri, coming off the win over Taz at Invasion, and now defeating another ECW alum here with Raven.
Yep. Paul Heyman is backstage motivating Rhino because Rhino is going to face The Undertaker tonight, and he wants Rhino to gore The Undertaker. If he does that, it'll make him, a legend if he gores and defeats The Undertaker here tonight. The APA are backstage. They congratulate Kurt Angle on standing up to Austin. They make Kurt Angle drink beer. It's a little fun segment there. He's like, I never had a beer before. And he goes, oh, you'll be fine, Kurt. And it's like, okay, really? It's like, yeah. So now,
I was just gonna say that was a funny bit there with Kurt and the APA. Because Kurt takes a little bitty sip, and then Bradshaw's like, oh, come on, be a man. And then Kurt downs it, and he says, I love this stuff. And then Farouk gives the damn. So yeah, good stuff there.
Now we have Undertaker versus Rhino. Punches and elbows to Rhino. Old school to Rhino. Rhino counters a choke slam. Taker counters the gore with a big boot. Undertaker choke slams Rhino for the win. For this matchup, Steve, I went a star and 1/4. I thought it was good. It's short, but Rhino did get some shots in, and the Undertaker stands tall. But it was good to see these two go 1-on-1 here. So a star and 1/4 for me.
Yeah, I went a star and 3/4. This was kind of an intriguing matchup here between these two. Kind of a obviously big spot for Rhino, who they definitely are still thinking very highly of after being in the main event the night before, and putting him against Taker. again, they had some decent chemistry, went kind of back and forth. Big win, and Taker gets the win with the choke slam. I'm sure he probably wasn't going to get Rhino up for the last ride, unless it was like doing the thing where he comes out of the corner. But ultimately, this I think ended up being kind of just, I don't want to say filler, but just a way to kind of get Taker on screen, considering what's about to happen.
Yep, yeah, and I thought it was good to see like a good Alliance versus WWF brawl as well, and it felt like Rhino was a really good candidate to do this filler brawl with Undertaker here.
Mm-hmm.
Page, the DDP, then comes out. He starts the brawl with Undertaker. Sarah then starts kicking DDP, and then the Undertaker comes in with a chair, and then so then Sarah gets thrown into the line of fire, and then so he's going for the chair shot. Paige throws Sarah into the chair shot, so Sarah takes a chair shot to the back from Sarah from Undertaker. Sorry about that. Yeah, and then Undertaker doesn't want anybody to touch her. And then DDP is hightailing it. So this feud between Undertaker and DDP is far from over here.
Yeah. So Paige came out right at the end there to go after Sarah. Then like you said, they brawl, and then I'll tell you, Sarah, she didn't. She took that chair shot really good. I mean, Taker. Taker was obviously trying to protect a little bit because that's his wife. But I mean, she took a good chair shot, so I'll give her that. And then kind of where you see the feud starting to kind of turn now is when Paige is leaving and Coach comes up to him, and Paige says that what happened to Sarah, turned him on, and it made him hot. So we're going from Paige just stalking after Sarah just to get Taker's attention to now it seems like Paige is starting to become obsessed with Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like it's becoming even like weirder than what it started off with, like you said. So we'll see where this goes as well as we continue on through the weeks. Now we have Chris Jericho versus Kanyon. Jericho says everybody is better than Kanyon. He starts asking names of the audience members. He talks to a 10-year-old kid named Kevin. He goes, I think Kevin is better than Kanyon. I think Bob is better than Kanyon. Before he gets to the hot girl, though, Katie comes out and Jericho is pissed. Jericho throws Kanyon into the guardrail, chops the Kanyon, spine buster to Jericho, missile drop kick by Jericho, bulldog to Kanyon. Kanyon counters a lion salt with a face buster by Kanyon for a 2 count. The Walls of Jericho for the win by Jericho. For this matchup, Steve, I went 2 1/4. I thought they did some good wrestling here, and Jericho always looks good. He gets the win, and we'll see where Kanyon goes too. After saying that he is the MVP of the Alliance and MVP of Invasion, so I went 2 1/4.
Yeah, I went 2 1/4 as well. Again, 2 guys who I'm sure at some point had to have faced off in WCW, even if it was during that period when Kanyon was Mortis. So I'm sure they had to have faced off at some point. But yeah, some good back and forth. Again, Kanyon busting out some good offense. The innovator of offenses, I think he used to call himself. And again, kind of a good little win for Jericho coming off again losing the night before, and King is a guy that can take a loss like this, and it doesn't like hurt him too much.
No, it doesn't hurt him at all, and he's going to get a good surprise on SmackDown as well. So now Vince McMahon arrives to the arena, and now he comes to the ring. Vince says that Invasion was just one battle and the WWF will win the war. Vince drops a bomb on the Alliance and says it is now time to reinstate The Rock. Vince says The Rock has a choice to make. He challenges The Rock. He wonders if The Rock can still bring it. Can he lay the smack down? Can he raise the people's eyebrow and drop the people's elbow? the fans still want to know, is he still the most electrifying man in sports entertainment? And can we still smell what he's cooking? So The Rock is going to make a choice, or he's going to come back next week on Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this announcement here?
I mean, it was pretty big. You knew at some point that that Rock was probably going to get involved with this angle, and that's obviously another reason why they had Austin turn the night before, because you also don't want Rock, Austin, and Austin on the same side, because then it'd be pretty much completely one sided towards the WWF, and you knew Rock obviously was not going to turn heel and join the Alliance, because he's had no affiliation with WCW or ECW at any point. So it was good to kind of have him back. Even though I think we've done fairly well without him to this point, having him back will definitely bring some extra star power to this thing.
Yeah, and I believe the Mummy 2 filming had ended, so The Rock's acting career is back in line as well. Yeah, I believe it was The Mummy Returns here, and then he goes to the Scorpion King next year as well. Mm-hmm. Kurt says Vince needs a leader with intensity, integrity, and intelligence. He says, you don't need The Rock, Vince. You got me. And then Billy Gunn and Big Show are at WWF New York. They're trying to still be a tag team and form a tag team. And, he's like, oh, yeah, I go to the gym all the time. And they're both eating the Big Show's eating a salad and stuff. So, it's just kind of funny how, the Big Show's trying to lose weight and they're trying to do this goofy tag team here.
Yeah. Yeah, good little intensity, no pun intended there by Kurt. Saying that again to Vince, you don't need Rock, you got me. And at one point, he pushes Vince up against the wall to show how serious he is. And this is it's kind of cool seeing Kurt kind of tap into this kind of inner intensity that we don't usually see a lot of, or at least at this point. It kind of gives them an extra layer that the fans can get behind, just to see this, because they know Angle's a guy that can as an Olympian can just take anybody out if he really wanted to. So it gives them, like I said, some extra intensity. And then Big Show and Billy at WWE New York again, just trying to stay any relevancy that they can keep.
Yeah. Tori is backstage flirting with Jeff Hardy. Trish fights Tori. Yeah, they get into a little skirmish backstage, but now we have this spanking match by Tori. Huge kick. We have a spanking match between Tori and Trish. Huge kick by Trish. Clothesline to Tori. Trish goes to the outside. Trish grabs the paddle. A drop kick to Trish, and Tori uses the paddle. I'm gonna dud on this. It's not even really a match, Tori doesn't do that much. She just steals the win by getting the paddle here. So I went to dud on this.
I actually went half a star. It wasn't. Both girls obviously are still pretty green, but you can definitely see there's something with the two of them. More so Trish, I think, right now than Tori. Although I'll give Tori credit. She is definitely. She's not at least trying to half-ass it. She's at least working her ass off to figure to do something. Little surprised Tori got the win essentially clean. I thought maybe Stacy would have come out to give her a hand, but they instead give Tori the win.
Yeah. So now we have our main event. It's Booker T and the Dudley Boys versus Kurt Angle, Edge, and Christian. Kurt and Devon start. Clothesline to Devon. Tag to Christian. Double team by Edge and Christian. Boot to Edge's face by Bubba. Side kick to Edge by Booker T. Elbow drop by Bubba. Flapjack by the Dudley Boys. Bubba misses I call it the ass dive, when he always jumps he's always misses that. So I call it the ass dive. Backbreaker to Devon. 3D to Christian through a table. So Christian is first eliminated. Flying clothesline to the Dudley Boys by Edge. Edge gets hung up on the top rope. Spear to Devon, but Booker T slams Edge through a table. So the Alliance guys are at a 3-1 advantage already here. Kurt gives Devon a belly to belly, but the table doesn't break. But it does the second time. A scissors kick. So these tables were not breaking at all. A lot of times, scissors kick to Kurt. Kurt tries to angle slam Booker T through a table, but it doesn't break again. Angle reverses Booker T into the table. Earl Hebner goes down. Kurt Angle slams Bubba, but Nick Patrick moves the table. Kurt puts Nick Patrick into the ankle lock. Then Stone Cold gives Angle a stunner. Bubba power bombs Kurt Angle through a table. So a lot happened. Sorry about that. They let the Alliance guys have the 3-1 advantage. And then Kurt Angle really only gets Devon through the table. And then there's no clear winner. But, you could tell that, they wanted to make it seem like the Alliance guys stood tall. But they didn't really, give the match to the Dudley Boys and Booker T because it was really, it ended in a no contest here. But for the matchup, Steve, I went 2.5. I went 2.5 on it. I thought it was a good match. A good 6-man. The table didn't break a couple of times. Good ways on how they put the guys through the tables.
Yeah, I went 3 stars. I really liked it. I thought Booker and the Dudleys looked good as a unit, as obviously did Edge, Christian, and Kurt. Not 100% shocked that Edge and Christian got eliminated first because they want to have Angle play the face in peril down 3-1. And yeah, those it's funny, you always the guys always say obviously going through the tables isn't fun, but if you go through when they get hit on a table and it doesn't break, that's even worse. So those are some nasty bumps that they were taking off those tables that wouldn't break. Kind of funny that it came down to Kurt and Bubba. I kind of thought it would come down to Kurt and Booker, considering what we were going to get on SmackDown. But it was, again, it wasn't that big of an issue. Again, Nick Patrick again gets involved. He screws Kurt by moving the table when Angle gives Bubba the Angle slam, and then Austin comes out, gives Angle the stunner, and then they finish Angle off with the power bomb through the table. So good stuff here as as right now the Alliance is on a roll here. They've already, they won an Invasion, and then tonight, they've won, took majority of the matches. They kept the hardcore title. They've got the IC title now in their ranks. So right now, the WWF is definitely reeling.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on SmackDown as we are live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, Steve, watching this SmackDown. Did Teddy Long write the show? Because there are 3 tag team matches on the show, and when I think of tag team matches, I think of Teddy Long here. We're gonna have a tag team match. Yeah.
Well, there's no Taker though on this show. That was the only thing that was missing to really be a Teddy Long show.
Yeah. There was no Undertaker, but a bunch of tag team matches. Here, we're live in Pittsburgh, PA, with SmackDown, July 26, 2001. It is Kurt Angle's hometown, and we get highlights from Raw as Vince wants to bring The Rock back, and Kurt Angle is driven through the table by the Dudley Boys and Stone Cold. And we kick off with a match right away. It's Hardy Boys versus Billy Kidman and Hurricane Helms. See, so this is what I think is weird, because of what the next segment is. You put Billy Kidman in a tag team match with Hurricane Helms, and then you introduce him as I'm the Cruiserweight champ, but you just lost a match, I think they could have gone with Chavo Guerrero or even Hugh Morris here, to take Kidman's place here. I think I would have given it to Chavo.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen much of Chavo since this started. So, Yeah, he and Helms could have made a good little team.
Yep. Whisper in the Wind to Helms. Leg drop to Jeff's next by Kidman. Dropkick counter to Kidman's cross body by Matt. Double clothesline by Matt. Jeff misses Poetry in Motion to Helms. Kick to Matt's face by Helms. Hurricanrana to Kidman by Lita. Twist of Fate and a Swanton Bomb to Helms. So for this matchup, I went 2 stars, Steve. It's like your typical Hardy Boys rundown. You know, they get all their spots in, and then Lita gets the the Hurricanrana save, and someone's got to take the Twist of Fate and Swanton Bomb combo. So that was Gregory Helms, as they say, or Hurricane Helms. So I went 2 stars. It's a typical Hardy Boys match.
Yeah, I went 1.5 stars. It was, like you said, decent stuff. Typical Hardys offense. Kevin and Helms did look good as a team. They both pull off some good offense. And then, like you said, Helms ends up being the Hurricanrana from Lita, as well as the Twist of Fate and the Swanton. So, if anything about, you mentioned about Kidman. If anything, at least he didn't take the pin. It was Helms that took the pin. So, maybe that a little bit of consolation there, but yeah, good decent stuff here. And if I bounce back for the Hardys after they both got fairly handled their back-to-back nights by RVD.
Yeah, so they don't win in singles matches, but they do win the tag team matches. So the Hardy Boys are going to have to keep on fighting these tag team matches. But keep in mind also that Matt Hardy is still European champion. If you didn't know that fact, Steve.
Oh yeah, no, I did.
Yep. So now Big Show and Billy Gunn are backstage coming up with a tag team name. They go with Shoguns. Billy Gunn says that's the stupidest name ever. And Big Show's like, well, hey, that'll get them to stop you. That'll tell them to stop calling you, the one Billy Gunn and Rockabilly. And then they go, yeah, maybe they'll stop calling you the Giant, or the Big Nasty Bastard and all this other stuff. So they go, all right, Shoguns works. So this new tag team name is Shoguns. Steph, Paul, and Shane come to the ring. The Alliance comes to the ring. Basically the same words from Raw, we told you so. But then they introduce all the Alliance champions. You got the WCW Tag Team Champions, Palumbo and O'Haire, the WCW Cruiserweight Champion, Billy Kidman, the WWF Intercontinental Champion, Lance Storm, the WWF Hardcore Champion, Rob Van Dam, and the WCW Heavyweight and United States Champion, Booker T. But then Chris Kanyon comes to the ring and is given the United States Championship by Booker T. Like, he doesn't even pin anybody to win. He just is given the title. Do you think that Kanyon was the right guy? Because I have someone else in mind, like 3 other guys in mind besides Kanyon. Diamond Dallas Page, could have given it to him. Mike Awesome or Hugh Morris, give it to like an under, like I guess like Kanyon is an under guy on the Alliance too, but those are my other 3 choices here too.
Well, I mean, I actually was I thought you were going to say Rhino at first because that would have been one of my choices. But I don't think DDP really needs it at this point. Because that was going to be a focal point of that feud between him and Taker. Mike Awesome could have been a good choice, but I think by this point he's already kind of starting to get kind of pushed aside. Like you said, maybe they started not trusting him a lot as much as they wanted to. So, and then Hugh Morris, I think it was another fine choice, but I mean, I get why they did go with Kanyon. Since he was doing the whole MVP thing, and Booker just gifting him the U.S. title, kind of just adds more to his delusion. So
Yep. Yeah. So now, but being said the MVP, he's given a championship to as a reward. And JR's like, that's like giving a stooge a vice president job, Like he's like, you're financial president. You're the president of this. JR was laying into Canyon. It was kind of funny. So now they go. Now they bring Stone Cold into the ring, and then Kurt Angle comes out. A strong ovation from the crowd. So he gets a huge loud pop. They're in his hometown. Angle says no Alliance member will be a gold medalist like Kurt will be. That this is his hometown, and this is Pittsburgh, PA, and the crowd is just loving it, and they are going wild. Angle wants to fight Stone Cold tonight. Stone Cold says Kurt is selfish because Angle wants more gold. Austin says he will fight Angle, but not tonight. Stone Cold says Angle will face Booker T, which comes out of nowhere, and Booker's like, why are you volunteering me, man? And he's like, yeah, you're going to fight him for the WCW title. And then, Stone Cold saying, Booker, he told me he could beat you, and that you're a sucker. So he's getting into Booker T's head, and Booker accepts the challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good little segment overall by everyone. Like you said, just kind of the Alliance asserting their early dominance with showing off all their belts. And yeah, big pop for Kurt from his hometown. Definitely, you can tell he was definitely getting. Like I said, he was already starting to get over with the fans, but having him get this big of a pop in his hometown definitely was a plus for him. And then Austin definitely kind of strong arming Booker into defending the WCW title, which it's a definitely a good little showing there for Booker, and we'll see if Kurt ends up can finally kind of bring some momentum back to the WWF.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see if the WWF guys can steal an Alliance title here. Regal and Tajiri are backstage. Canyon comes in, says he wants Chris Jericho, but he won't. But he's not going to put the U.S. title on the line since he just earned it, or he won it, as he says. He's like, you didn't win nothing. Regal says that Canyon must go through a test and just starts making fun of Canyon because he can't say she sells seashells by the seashore 10 times fast. He gets all tongue-tied. I had to slow it down so I could say it right, So Regal offers a tag team match. Jericho and Tajiri versus Canyon and a partner of his choosing. Canyon goes with Rob Van Dam. I like this spot here for Rob Van Dam. It gets him back in, climbing that ladder to the main event success with being in the ring with Jericho here.
No, yeah, definitely, and yeah, that little that back and forth there with Canyon trying to do that tongue twister while Regal and Tajiri are mocking him. Because that was probably again a thing where Vince found out Canyon has this lisp and he has to make fun of him for it.
Yeah. Yep. So now we have the Dudley Boys versus the Big Show and Billy Gunn, or Shoguns as they are now called. Devon and Billy start off, clothesline to Billy. What's up, bomb to Billy. Billy goes into the announcer's table. A double DDT by Billy. Tag to the Big Show. Sidewalk slam to Devon. Double clothesline to the Dudleys. A famous there to Bubba for a 2 count. Show clotheslines Billy and is thrown to the outside. And then a 3D to Billy for the win. For this matchup, I went 2 1/4. Big Show and Billy did put up a good fight. We saw some good moves from the Big Show. Even though he's buried in this tag team, he's still a dominant force with the clotheslines and the sidewalk slam. And Billy still has the famouser, and he did a really good job with that double DDT. So I went 2 1/4, Steve.
Well, I went 1 1/4. I thought it was okay. Again, kind of similar from the previous match with standard match we get for the Hardys. We get another kind of standard match here with the Dudleys. Billy, does play a good face in parallel. Then Show does the hot tag and kind of cleans house, and then like I said, there's that little miscommunication at the end there, leads to the 3D from the Dudleys, and it already looks like Big Show and Billy are done because they argue after the match, and it looks like their short-lived team is no more. We'll have to obviously keep track and see where they go from here.
Yep, we're backstage with Austin, Booker T, and the Alliance. Booker T says to hell with The Rock, and who's The Rock think he is? Well, to hell with The Rock. Austin says Booker needs to focus on Kurt, and he also drops a little hint. He says, who says The Rock is coming back to the WWF? He's going to join the Alliance. So Stone Cold is putting it into the heads of everybody that Rock is going to go join the Alliance. Did a good job with that.
Yeah, and we'll kind of see it later when Shane kind of pushes that point forward, and right away you can already tell what they're probably going to plan for Rock when he comes back, since they're having Booker talk so much shit about him.
Yeah. So then we have Kane versus DDP, as Kane looks to avenge Undertaker and Sarah. Punches by Kane. Kane goes to work on DDP. A big boot by Kane, flying clothesline by Kane, DDT to Kane, a neck breaker, and clothesline by DDP. Another clothesline by DDP. Kane counters a diamond cutter, a sidewalk slam to DDP. DDP throws Kane into the steel steps. Kane then hits DDP with a chair, and then he gets disqualified. Even though DDP brought the chair in, he didn't actually get a chance to use it. And while Kane used it, so Nick Patrick saw that Kane used it, he disqualifies Kane. For this matchup, I went a star and a half, Steve.
Yeah, I went star and a half as well. Again, kind of just decent power stuff by both guys. Page got some decent offense in. Kane comes, does his comeback. And then, like I said, yeah, he brings Page brings the chair in. Kane ends up using it and gets DQ. So kind of one of the few times where Nick Patrick actually called it down the middle and didn't really play it favor to Page, even though he ends up taking a choke slam at the end anyway from Kane. So kind of funny there. But yeah, again, decent stuff here, because it seems like now obviously Kane's been involved in the thing with Taker and DDP, so we'll see if DDP maybe finds somebody to back him up against the brothers.
Perry Saturn is backstage. Here's a little wackadoo here. Perry Saturn's backstage. Lance Storm finds Perry, and he complains that he has to put his Intercontinental Championship up against Perry Saturn, a man who loves a mop. And so Edge is not happy about that. Edge and Christian then run into Taz. Edge and Christian just basically diss Taz's accent. I don't know why this segment was in. It really didn't lead to anything, even though that it does during the in the middle of the night here with a match. But this was a weird segment, Steve.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird segment. I did like the Storm and Saturn, where Storm's like, telling that, we're gonna have a match. He's bringing back integrity and making the Intercontinental title mean something. He demands that Saturn treat it with respect, and then Saturn just says something bizarre and walks off, and Storm's like, "Was that a yes?" I just, again, Storm's just with his deadpan is just so it's just so good.
Yeah. Now we have Chris Jericho and Tajiri versus Canyon and Rob Van Dam. Double team by Jericho and Tajiri. Kick to RVD's face and Hurricanrana to RVD. Tajiri is slammed face first by Canyon. Power slam to Canyon by Tajiri. Bulldog to RVD. Drop kick to Canyon. Canyon breaks up the walls of Jericho. Missile drop kick to RVD. Canyon hits Tajiri with the U.S. title and a 5-star frog splash by RVD for the win by Tajiri. For this matchup, I feel like I went a little bit low on this matchup, but I thought it was good. But I don't feel like we saw a lot from Canyon. It was mostly like Jericho and Tajiri versus Rob Van Dam, except for the hardcore. I mean, the United States title shot to Tajiri. For this match, I want to star in 3/4. It was good, but I just didn't think we saw a lot from Canyon.
Yeah, I went a star and a half. I mean, these guys just barely get 4 minutes, which is for these four just really short. Like if this was on a house show, you could easily see these guys getting 15 minutes and just going out and having a banger. As is, they did did get a lot into these 4 minutes. Again, kind of more of, like you said, more of a showcase for RVD, more so than Canyon. I thought he and RVD and had good chemistry with both Jericho and Tajiri. Obviously, he and Tajiri had at least a couple of counters in ECW. Obviously, we'll see him and Jericho down the line. But, yeah, good little win there for RVD and Canyon. Canyon uses the bell, and then RVD hits the 5-star for the win. So, I mean, they've really made RVD pretty strong here this week. I mean, he wins the hardcore title at Invasion, gets a successful defense on the Raw. Now here he gets the win in the tag match. So they're really clearly, you can see he's being groomed as one of the aces of the alliance.
Yep. And now we go backstage. Perry Saturn is looking for Moppy and runs into Terry. So Terry has Moppy, and Terry says Terry basically gives Perry Saturn an ultimatum. It's either the mop or me. And then Perry takes the mop and says, "You're welcome to Terry." So Terry Reynolds got dumped for a mop by Perry Saturn. What the hell?
Well, no one said Perry Saturn was the smartest guy in the room, so no. I mean, even though he has been, taking a lot of blows to the head and clearly is not of right of mind, even, someone like him should realize that you don't dump a hottie like Terry Reynolds for a simple mop.
No, you don't. I mean, Terry could have maybe Terry could have helped Perry Saturn win the Intercontinental Championship if he dropped the mop. I don't know, but it looked like it. So now we have Lance Storm versus Perry Saturn. A drop kick by Storm, flapjack by Perry, superplex by Storm, kick to Perry's face for a 2 count. Perry slingshots Storm into the mop. Storm attempts to break Moppy, and then Perry gets disqualified for hitting Lance with Moppy. I don't know what you gave this, Steve. I gave it a 1.25. Good moves from both, but the finish is whack. As Perry Saturn just goes into this craze of "do leave Moppy alone," and he starts just whacking Lance Storm with the mop. So not a strong outing for Storm's first title defense, but we do see some good offense from Lance Storm.
Yeah, I want to start a quarter too. Kind of good little back and forth between the two. I mean, say what you will about Saturn, he is still very, very solid in the ring at least. But yeah, I actually I did chuckle at Storm trying to break Moppy in half. But the ending was just really bizarre. Like, why is Storm not getting a clean win over Perry Saturn of all people? I mean, Perry Saturn is like the lowest of the low right now on the WWF roster. And you're telling me, after giving Storm the IC title 3 nights earlier, that he can't get a clean title defense over Saturn? I mean, like, if you want to have Saturn, attack him with Moppy after the match, that's fine. But at least have Storm get the win, get a clean win first.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing? So now we're backstage as Shane, Stephanie, and Paul are talking about how Vince wants to bring The Rock back to Team WWF. Shane pulls a videotape out, and it's like, he says, "I think it's time to remind The Rock of why he should come over to the Alliance." So Shane comes to the ring, and he plays the videotape. It's all the times that Vince screwed The Rock, like at WrestleMania 17, at WrestleMania 2000, this and this and that. He says basically for The Rock to shine up Vince's invitation, shine it up real nice, and stick it straight up Vince McMahon's ass, because the Alliance will not screw The Rock. So he's really telling The Rock to join the alliance because we won't screw you. So Shane has a valid point that Vince McMahon has been guilty of, ruining The Rock's career a little bit by costing him at 2 consecutive WrestleManias.
Yeah, it was a good little video there that by Shane. I mean, it's kind of funny because Shane has himself screwed Rock over on numerous occasions. So I think it's just a matter of, at this point, it's like, which of the, I mean, Vince isn't evil, Shane and Stephanie aren't evil, and it's basically Rock's got to choose which one he thinks is going to be the lesser of two evils. So, but it does give you a little bit. I mean, again, I think everyone probably had fairly good idea that Rock was not going to turn on the WWF and join the alliance, but it did give a little bit of of a good enough tease to think that maybe he could.
Yep. So backstage, Stone Cold is pumping up Booker T for his title defense against Kurt Angle. And now we have Edge and Christian versus Taz and Rhino, a big filler matchup here. This seems like the bathroom matchup for the fans to go get their popcorn before the main event. This matchup just has like one segment of Christian and Edge making fun of Taz's accent. Not a whole lot building up. This match was just put together, but we needed that. So it's these 4 guys here. Rhino punches Taz and Rhino punches in a bulldog by Edge. Taz trips Edge. Taz and Rhino are isolating Edge away from Christian. Shoulder block to Edge. Tag to Taz and Christian. Backbreaker to Rhino. Suplex to Christian. A double clothesline to Edge. Christian is in the Taz mission. Rhino tries to gore Edge, but he accidentally misses and hits Christian with the gore, but he gores Christian right onto Taz. Edge spears Rhino, and then Christian gets the W because Taz's shoulders were down. For this matchup, I went 1.5 stars. It had some good moments and a good finish for a short little filler matchup here, but the finish of all the moves and how Christian gets the win was a great finish here. So I went 1.5 stars.
Yeah, I want to start 1/4, and we shortchanged it. We said that there were 3 tag matches here, but here this is actually our 4th one. So we shortchanged the tag matches by 1, but yeah, kind of a weird spot for Rhino. Kind of just getting thrown in this match just to be Taz's partner, even though you play off the history between him and Edge and Christian. Again, kind of standard tag formula here with these guys. I thought the ending itself was actually kind of neat little finish there. Like you said, Rhino hitting Christian and Taz essentially with the gore, and then Christian falls on top of Taz for the win. So again, decent, like you said, decent stuff here. Kind of, again, just like you said, a filler match before the big main event.
Yep. And then we have a small little Tough Enough recap of who they should eliminate. Did you watch Tough Enough, Steve?
I did. Yeah, I definitely watched that first season.
Yep. As sadly, Daryl gets the cut. I thought Shadrack actually got the cut before Daryl, but I think it's like backwards or something. But Daryl gets cut as Taz points out that like he was very lazy and he couldn't really keep up and was doing the moves all wrong. So Daryl got the cut here. As we move towards seeing who's going to be the first Tough Enough champion.
Yeah, no shock there that Daryl got eliminated there. He, like you said, he had a decent enough look, but he just wasn't getting it. And it's just your assumption is right. It's the next week that Shadrack gets eliminated. So
look at that.
So not far after that, but yeah, but it was definitely because it was interesting because Daryl was the first one actually cut from the competition, because prior to that, the first 3, Jason, Victoria, and Bobby Joe had all quit. So
yeah,
so we finally see someone that actually got cut by the trainers.
Yep, yeah. So now it is time. It is our main event. It is Kurt Angle versus Booker T for the WCW Championship. Back body drop to Booker. Clothesline by Kurt. Kurt bounces Booker off the announcer's table. German suplex to Booker. Kurt misses the moonsault like he always does, except if you're Hardcore Holly. Kurt goes to the outside. Kurt is thrown into the crowd. Angle counters Booker. Angle goes into the steps. Knee drop to Kurt. Spine buster by Booker T. Flying clothesline and belly-to-belly suplex by Kurt. Superplex to Booker T. The Alliance members try to distract the ref, but the WWF stars start to brawl with the Alliance. Canyon hits Angle with a steel chair. Angle kicks out. Sidekick by Booker for a 2 count. Earl Hebner goes down. Angle slam to Booker T. Stone Cold comes in and gives Angle a stunner. Angle looks like it's going to be he's going to get pinned, but Booker T does not go for the cover. Angle gets Booker T into an ankle lock, and Booker T taps out. So we have a new WCW champion, and it's Kurt Angle. For this matchup, Steve, I went 3 stars.
I went 2 3/4. I wanted to give a 3, but I did think it got a little bit overbooked there at the end. Kurt does gets a big pop from his hometown, and I thought he and Booker had really good chemistry. I know they fought before, like prior to Invasion, but they definitely got a good chance to build on it here. Again, all the brawling, I think, just in that first fight, like I don't mind Austin coming out and getting involved because that continues the thing with him and Kurt, but having that like brawl there at the like right before that, I think kind of hurt the flow a little bit. And then kind of like then Booker and Kurt kind of get it back together, and then like we said, Austin comes out and then he hits the stunner, and you think Angle's gonna get screwed again, but Booker makes the mistake of doing the spin-a-rooney, and then Kurt takes advantage and gets the ankle lock for the tap out. So a huge win for Kurt in his home to get to bring the WCW title over now to the WWF, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, it's like Stone Cold is actually like smiling. He's like, that son of a gun. He got the win, So now we know that a WWF guy has a WCW champion, as Kurt Angle is the WCW title. So not all bad for the WWF, as they have stolen a title from the Alliance. And it's the big gold one, too. So we'll see, like you said, where that pans out. And the big question is, where is The Rock going to go as we head into Philadelphia and we await The Rock's return? Is he going to choose the WWF, or is he going to choose the Alliance? That's going to do it from us from Nation Invasion. But before we go, Steve, do you have anything that you want to plug or direct the listeners to?
Yeah, so you, of course, mentioned the other show we do, so I'll let you kind of go further than that. But I will mention here that on this feed, I actually made back-to-back appearances on the Place to Be podcast with Scott and JT. The first one we did, I did their second edition of the Making Towns that they're doing, where we talked Las Vegas. And we also watched the Rey Mysterio Eddie Guerrero Cruiserweight title match from Halloween Havoc 97. That was a lot of fun. And then, of course, actually, you and I both appeared on the PTB Christmas special, so that's always a great fun time to do or to listen to, and it's going to be, I think, this year's probably might be one of our best ones yet. So definitely be sure to listen to that. I also, of course, have my usual shows over on the Pop feed, Pop Goes to Classics, Making Mount Rushmore, and the Video Jukebox Song of the Day. Other than that, I can be found typically over on the PTB Facebook group of good stuff over there. Of course, we have usual occasional tournaments, which, like I said, the next tournament should. I don't know when that's going to happen, so just keep an eye out on the Facebook group to see when it gets the word on that.
Yeah, and congratulations to what was it, Lose Yourself, for being the ultimate 2000 song, right?
Yes, "Lose Yourself" by Eminem was named the greatest song of the 2000s by the PTB Nation, beating out 50 Cent's In the Club. So
Oh man, I knew my way wasn't gonna make it to the end. I was like, oh, no one's gonna, especially with what Limp Bizkit had to go up against. I was like, yep, it's not gonna happen. Like you said, Steve, we also do a show on the Place V Nation Wrestling feed as well. That is called Extreme Resurrection. We go back and cover ECW on Sci-Fi from 2006 to 2010. We are just wrapping up into the Great American Bash as Johnny Nitro changes his name from Nitro to John Morrison, and he retains the ECW title versus CM Punk at the Great American Bash. So we'll see where that feud goes and if it leads into a third encounter at SummerSlam for the ECW title. Well, I want to thank Steve Riddle for being my guest again on Nation Invasion. I'm James Gruenberg, and I will see you next time as we, the nation, bring the invasion.